This is the 20th season of Bass Talk Live. BTL is presented by Bass Cat Boats, Strike King Lures, Aftco, Pro Guy Batteries, Spro, Gamakatsu, The Bass Tank, Denali Rods, Beatdown Outdoors, and Sunline.
BTL coming at you.
Good evening, and welcome to another exciting edition of BTL Bass Talk Live, where we are going to talk about bass fishing. Evening edition from the cabin. It's actually cloudy and overcast tonight, so we were able to show that, yes, we're staying on the shores of Lake Champlain. If you listen to Monday's show, right?
Yes, sir.
I've kind of lost my days.
Yeah, I thought I was on the road for a while.
Yeah, I've been on the road. I've been on the road for so long, I thought it was a good idea to shave just a filthy mustache.
Dude, I told you.
And then I caught fish today, and now I'm like in the – well, listen, like I was kind of thinking, if you think about it, there's a lot of good smallmouth anglers with mustaches, right? So, like, Seth Feider comes to mind.
Yeah, he's got a solid duster.
He does. I'm sure if Jay Shakurik could grow facial hair, he would have one too.
Yep.
He just – you know, there's just a number. I just feel like that it goes well with smallmouth fishing.
I mean, and the aviators.
Rick Harris. I saw Rick Harris had a really good mustache going at ICAST. He's a smallmouth guy. Does some guiding on the St. Lawrence. So I figured why not? And then I wasn't even thinking that then if you catch him, that means you get your picture taken.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of proud of it. Josh Giraldi.
Yes, sir.
Rooming with Josh from Canada. If you haven't listened to his story of kind of how he ended up here at the Bass Nation, watching a video of Carl Jacobson fishing, and said, you know what? I need that in my life. And listen, just rooming with you for the week, I'm highly impressed at how adept you are and your knowledge base in such a short time period.
I appreciate it, man. Like, I really do. It's that's a huge compliment coming from you, especially what happened today. Absolutely waxed him.
I'm tied for 7th. So this is what I've always thought is interesting about fishing, because it takes place over such a long period of time, right? If you want to look at like this tournament as a game, it's like a 3-day game.
Okay, yeah.
Like when you're up 1-0 after the first period, like people aren't like, oh yeah, you're leading after the first, right? So I always look at it like, yeah, it was a great day. I'm in 7th, but like it's halftime right now. Haven't won anything, haven't done anything, haven't qualified for anything. And it's Champlain, so the weights are ridiculously tight. Yeah. I mean, I'll take the compliment. I haven't had many opportunities to get complimented on the water this year, as a couple of listeners like to point out on a regular basis. But you know, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they don't go look at my weight today, you're good.
Yeah. Well, okay. So we're going to get in a little bit. Obviously, we're not going to dive super deep into what's going on in the tournament. We're both still competing in it. There's also some big industry news that broke. I think Platinum Equity acquired GSM. GSM has been acquiring a number of brands like Big Bite, Yamamoto, Buckeye. I think Bill Lewis is under that. They've got all sorts of hunting and fishing stuff. I'm going to be totally honest on that. Are you like do you have like a business mind, or you're more like a?
No, I kind of wanted to pick your brain on that. So
I'm the wrong guy to pick my brain on the business. But
well,
I'll just ask the question because it might be a humorous answer.
Well, actually, what I'm kind of curious about is like, what is GSM? What is their role play? And then are they in like straight competition with like other big brands? Is that what it is? Or
so they're like private equity groups that have purchased like private bait companies, right? Okay. This is where I was going with this. This is a disclaimer. So I called Mark Jeffries. Everybody, by the way, Mark at basszone.com. He still checks that email. He'd be cool with me saying that, right? Telling what? Yeah, I'm going to say it. He's a grandpa. Mark is a grandpa. A healthy baby girl for his son, Mark Mark Jr.
Really?
And got a picture yesterday. So shoot Mark, or anyway, if you have any way to get it, he's going to be on the show next week to talk about this stuff because I don't know about it. But shoot Mark an email if you're a longtime listener of the show. I mean, if this goes back to the 20 years when it was, fire, brimstone, and the purple, BTL, B.A.S.S zone, the whole 9 yards, he is now in a completely different phase of life. He's coaching bowling. He's enjoying fishing in his leisure. And now he's a grandpa.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. So
Good for him.
congratulations, Mark. He's not a very public guy.
Yep.
Like, I think that three personal things in life is when he yard sailed at the basketball gym and had to get life flighted out. And I could have worded that a little
bit. Yeah.
His bowling career.
It's taken off now?
Oh, yeah. He just got third in a tournament last weekend.
Good for him.
Yeah. And now this. So congratulations, Mark, on that. So anyway, I tell that story to tell this. I called Mark and I said, what does this mean? Platinum Equity acquiring GSM. GSM, big player in the industry, specifically in the past 2-3 years. And he started into this rigmarole spiel that I know just enough about to get it all wrong.
Okay.
So I'm going to get Mark on BTL next week. I will say this. This is the press release. Platinum Equity announced today the signing of a definitive agreement to acquire GSM Outdoors from Gridiron Capital. Expected Q3 2024. Over 50 brands in the outdoors. The co-president of... Is it raining? Holy cow, there's
Sideways,
a monsoon. Man. Is everything good? You don't have anything out on the boat that you need to take care of?
No, I'm good.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is very businesslike. The sector is characterized by an attractive combination of resilience, growth potential, and MMA opportunities. I thought that was like the whips and chains. M&A?
No,
that's S&M.
Yeah.
M&A opportunities.
M&A, not MMA.
M&A. Yeah. Like M and M's. Yeah. M&A opportunities, which suits our firm well. We believe GSM's distribution network, experience bringing new products to market, rigorous quality control, and care for its customers position it well to capitalize on those dynamics and diversify its portfolio to meet the growing demand. I feel like we don't need to read any more of that.
No, sir.
So there you go. So we'll have Mark on to talk about what that means in the industry and to catch up with Grandpa Jeffries. So, all right, let's talk a little bit about the tournament today. We're probably going to go for like a half an hour tonight, and then we're also going to talk about the final MLF Invitational on St. Clair. A lot to be decided there. A group of really talented young anglers all vying for the Angler of the Year over there, and we'll kind of dive into. Now that'll be a smallmouth tournament for sure. We'll kind of dive into that smallmouth event, but Bass Nation Regional, really quick to catch up on it. You fish the Bass Nation Regional. The top guys from the state go to the national championship, depending on how many you have. The rest, you fish these 4 regionals. You can fish them either with your state or as an at-large bid. I'm an at-large guy. Are you too, or are you with the Ontario Club?
No, at-large.
You're an at-large. Yeah. Fish for 3 days, $450 entry fee. Top 20 go to the national championship, which is on Grand in November. There are 3 Oklahoma guys here. There are 2 other Oklahoma guys. Yeah, we also ended up seeing each other. We're like, well, I thought I'd be the only Oklahoma guy. Yeah, it's because we all want to fish Grand in November.
So you guys all had the same plan?
We all had the same plan. So did you see the dude leading this thing after day 1? Buckets. So the whole goal is to finish in the top 20 because then you get a check. You get to go to the national championship. Frankie Appalucio, he had a 615 largemouth.
I didn't see that.
He had a 7-pound green one, and like another one that looked like it was like mid-5s.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, all largemouth.
Do you think it'll play for 3 days?
I don't know anything about Champlain. I feel like the fish population in this lake would not surprise me. It would surprise me if he catches another 7 more.
I mean, yeah, I agree with that. I also would be surprised if the weather's gonna play if he's running all the way down to tie.
And I have no idea if that's even possible with the largemouth anywhere but tie. I mean, I know there's largemouth anywhere you go up shallow here. There's friggin' smallmouth floating around everywhere where you go out deep. So, I mean, this fishery is absolutely insane. We saw what a fellow Oklahoman did last week in the Toyota series here. But Craig Morris, Dan, I'm not going to read. Reading Northern names is a poor choice, isn't it?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure you butchered that first one.
How do you say it?
I wouldn't say it. I'm not even going to try it.
Appaloocio? Appalluccio.
Yeah.
Appaloocio? Frank Appallucio?
I think I'm going to butcher it.
Anyway.
Yeah.
There were top 10. There were 11 bags at 20 pounds. The top 20 cut is sitting at 1810. So if you do that, then 1710 is 30th. So 1615 would be 38th. And then 16 and 15, 14, 13. But I had a good day. I had 20 pounds, 7 ounces. I would like to point out that this show was scheduled before I caught him. So not just doing this because I caught him today. But had a really good morning. I did stuff one. So it was the biggest wave that I've ever stuffed. I'll put it that way. I've speared a number of waves in my day, but this was the first one that I completely filled the bass cat up.
Dude, it got sporty up there. Like, I can see it.
I filled it up to the point where my co-angler, when we got back, was like, oh, thank God your glove box that's in between the two seats is waterproof, because it was above that. It was as much water as you could put in the boat. Like, it was one of those where I'm like, riding, and I go over the top, but I gun it right when I come off of the top.
Yeah.
And I just nose down through it, the whole slow motion, the whole wall of water. Everything's floating in the boat. The poor kid's tackle floating everywhere. Every used bait that I had floating. And it probably took a minute for the whole thing to drain through that Puma's. I mean, it literally was just like, shoom, sucked it all into the hole.
Really?
It was heavy as heck, obviously. I sat there, I idled, pumped it out for 5 minutes, and was good to go.
I will say, Panger, that when I got to ride with you in that cat, and that's a nice ride. It rides really nice.
It is. And they've done a lot of work on that hole, and that's the new hole. So I was very happy with it. But yeah, so I had a good morning. The interesting thing is, and we'll talk just a little bit about this, but we're fishing an area, and we kind of work together in practice just because we were rooming together and stuff like that. But we both had kind of picked a same somewhat area.
I mean, obviously you picked a better one.
Well, no. So I was telling you, this is the exact same thing that happened to me 2 weeks ago, because I think you're beating yourself up over this too much.
I don't know, man. Like, for me to be able to see you, and that wasn't planned. I had a couple spots I wanted to run, and I ran them first, like my bigger fish spots, and that was like the second or third spot that I was going to run anyways, and I seen you. And to know that you absolutely just wailed on them, and I completely missed the boat.
You didn't completely miss the boat. You just missed it by 200 yards.
Yeah, I mean, but that's a hard pill to swallow, man, 200 yards.
But it's good you were in the area. But it was the exact same thing that happened to me and my roommates at St. Clair.
Yeah.
We were 1,000 yards from where 6 of the top 10 went down. Like, we literally watched them drive past us on the first morning and went back that night and went, boy, we screwed the pooch on that one. Like, how did none of us go? Because we were kind of sharing some stuff. We were like, how did none of us, like, go check that section?
Yeah.
And then he's like, did you check it? And I was like, well, I went to here. He's like, and I went to here. And we were like, no one went to there? No one had gone to there.
Yeah.
And it was 1,000 yards away.
And I've got waypoints on one side, and I got waypoints on the other side, and I just never went in the middle.
Yeah. But, I mean, that's something that happens.
It's a learning. I told you before, I'm here for a learning experience, and I can tell you what, man, I'm learning plenty.
One of the things that I like about this event, about the Bass Nation and the grassroots stuff, is you see the guys out there with 6 graphs and rigged to the hilt.
Yeah.
I rolled up. I chatted with Luminetti today, who is in like a R73 Ranger, like the famous Ranger that he qualified for the Bassmaster Classic out of as the college angler. I think it's like a 17 and a half footer.
Yeah.
I saw him headed out into the abyss. He came back in with 15. Yeah. You see guys in 10 rigs out there. You see guys in deep Vs. You see guys in all sorts. But the one thing that I really like is you could tell everybody was jacked this morning, because this is your chance to go to the national championship. And it doesn't matter. Like, you know, I like you get to the higher levels, you feel like everybody's got the same stuff. And it's just like, you know what I mean? There's like not much, I would say, joy involved in the morning. It's more like a business deal. Yeah. And here you could tell, like, all you see, everyone had their cell phones out. It's like everyone's thoroughly soaking it in, enjoying it. Like for you, and we didn't talk about this before, I mean, like, it's not easy to get like a full week off. No. And to save up the money and to do that. So it's cool to be around a bunch of guys who are like on a badass lake, and everyone this morning had hope that like they were going to go out and crack them.
I mean, we're on the lake where anybody could. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool, man, to be rolling around there. But also, like, you're out there, but then you got guys, like you said, in deep Vs. Mm-hmm. I mean, the only guy that came back dry was the guy in the DV.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah. Or the guys that never left the harbor.
Yeah, that's true.
I thought that harbor was off limits. I was like idling back in, and there's like 50 boats fishing in it.
Yeah. So I came back early because it got a little bit sporty out there.
Everyone was drop shotting the moorings for the sailboats.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
I didn't see that,
like
man.
20 guys that were doing that.
Yeah, I was a couple thousand yards away.
But I was over it. I was trying to make sure my fish were happy and healthy, which they were. But I just wanted to get those suckers weighed in.
Yeah, that's awesome. I don't mind being honest.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Okay. So, what is the reasoning behind dumping them on day one? Because I've had this conversation with a bunch of different guys, and it goes 50-50.
I mean, for me, it was, I mean, without throwing shade, like that, the dock situation wasn't pleasant.
It was not ideal.
Yeah.
It was gassing 25 straight into it. You couldn't tie up on the gas dock side.
Right.
There were boats in all the other slips that weren't tournament boats. So really in that little itty bitty area, you had room for maybe 10 boats.
Yeah. And then as I idled out, I guess there was another, like, almost like a creek arm you could go back into, I guess. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so.
Oh, there's another, like a backside?
Not a backside, but it was like a creek where I think guys just put on on the shore. But my reasoning, Matt, so I ran back in. So I was running to another spot that we had. And halfway there, like, it had to be four footers.
I should have turned around. I did not.
Yeah, and I'm like, I looked at my co-angler, and I'm like, man, I don't want to tear this thing up.
Yeah.
We're going to head back to the launch. We'll fish around the launch for the last hour. So we went to another bay that's not off limits. Made sure of that. But, man, I picked up my 5th fish in that little bay, and it was a line burner. So for me, I put those fish through all that stress. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to put them in a bag. I'm not going to walk them up. Like,
that's fair.
Yeah, there was a couple good ones in there. Not great ones, a couple good ones. And yeah, I just didn't want to put the stress on the fish to come up with like 13 pounds or something like that, or whatever, what ended up being 13, 14 pounds.
Where would that have put you? So, like, let's just look statistically. Would you have had a shot had you brought them to weigh in? God, it's thundering now.
Yeah, it's gas.
Oh, it's going lightning, and they don't like that. Oh, my fish are going to leave.
Yeah, you'd be good.
So, like, 13 and a half, you'd have been in the top 100. But if you're looking for the 18, so let's just double that. Let's just say 18 and a half, 36, let's say 37 pounds. So if you had 13, 20,
I need like
23, 30. Yeah, you'd have had to crack them pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not like, if I was on the fish and like let's say those fish jumped off and I was just having a day, it's one thing, but
So I was I'll tell you a funny story about throwing a fish back. I'm 99% sure it was David Fritz. I think it was David Fritz. It was David Fritz because we were doing like a media deal. I wasn't like fishing with him because he invited me. I'm sure he would. He's a great dude. But like it was like, hey, you're with Matt for the next 2 hours. This is back when I was doing content for websites and stuff. And he was telling me about a tournament back when B.A.S.S used to do it. You would make the classic on your total weight. Some of the old school clubs still do that, right? So your angler of the year is determined by how many pounds you weigh in over the year. Not you don't get points. It doesn't matter where you finish. So like if you go to the Slugfest, you weigh in 30 pounds. That it doesn't matter. You could finish dead last in all the rest of them, but if no one catches 30 pounds over the course of the year, you win.
Okay.
So that's how B.A.S.S used to do it.
That's
like how you'd make the classic based on your total pounds throughout the entire year.
Really?
Yeah. So like if you bomb like a Slugfest, you're toast. If you win a grinder, you get the money.
Yeah.
But you win it with 25 pounds. You don't make up any ground on the dude who just won it with 80 pounds the week before.
Yeah, okay, I see what you mean. Yeah.
That's why they went to the point system. Long story short, Fritz was just having an awful tournament. I'm going to have to call him and ask him about this. It's a hell of a story. So I'll do the truncated version. And his boat broke down, and he was pissed, and he had 1 4-pounder in his live well, and he was a long way away, and there was a boat ramp there, and someone had keys or something, and he called the tournament director, and he's like, we can get someone there. We can get you to pick you up to weigh your fish in. And he's like, I've only got one. I've got a couple hours left to fish. Screw it. I'm done. And he chucked it. It was like early in the season.
Oh, no.
At the end of the year, he missed qualifying for that classic by less than 4 pounds.
That one fish.
That one fish.
And it's not a lost fish.
No, he had it, and he decided not to weigh it in, and he chucked it.
God, that's got to hurt.
Yeah. He was telling me that. So he said that's why he always always weighs his fish. Now, I will also say this. I have seen, and I won't name them, Elite Series pros in tournaments chuck a limit back at the dock in a tournament that counts for points.
Yeah. So I know this one doesn't count for points. It's a jackpot. Mm-hmm. Like, I've got to make the top 20. Also, thanks, Clay. I appreciate that.
Oh, yeah, you wouldn't.
Thanks.
Clay likes to keep things real.
Yeah, okay. I appreciate it. I'll take it. Yeah, I know there's no points involved. I know there's no angler of the year after this. There's nothing. I mean, if there was an angler of the year, it'd be pretty cool with the nations. Mm-hmm. But if there's none of that, I mean, yeah, I put those fish through enough.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, swim away happy and healthy. And
no, that's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I also think, though, you put like a week in, like, you spend the time you drive down here.
I know, man. Like, I kept them alive enough. Like, I was having boat problems too.
Yeah,
like,
I know. Luckily you're handy, so you can fix things.
Yeah.
What did you fix on mine? So when I speared that wave, so this is how bad I speared it. So I heard something, and I was like, God, please don't be my graphs. Yeah, but I've got them on the beatdown mount. Is that a siren?
No, that's just the
wind whistling.
Yeah. Did they move at all?
No, the beatdown mounts don't move. They literally don't move. You know why? Because you can't beat a beatdown.
All
right. But what does move are the plastic side plates on my Ultrex. So here's what I'm assuming happened. I'm over 20 straight days on the water, pretty much daylight to dark at this point. Lake St. Clair, Thousand Islands, Lake Ontario, Oneida, some lake in Vermont that I can't say the name of, and Lake Champlain.
Yeah.
I am sure, like, I checked my motor bolts and all that stuff and the power poles and all that. I did not check my trolling motor bracket.
Or the side plates.
Well, yeah. Well, the side plates are part of the bracket.
I mean, side plates.
Yeah, side plates.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that stuff had to rattle loose. Because for 20 days, there's been like 2 glass days, and the rest have been bam, bam, bam. So I'm sure that one was a little bit loose. And then when I speared it, the force of that water just peeled back the side plate, snapped it in half, bolt gone, and I found the big piece of plastic on the side.
Yeah, where did you find that?
It was on the bow, and like, you know how the cat has like the little hole up in the front? It was sitting in there.
Interesting. That's lucky to find that, man.
Yeah. See, Clay said it's your money. Do as you please. True. 2 thumbs up for fish care. But you're kind of a MacGyver. So
I'm a mechanic by trade.
So you had a spare bolt.
Oh, dude, there's a reason why I've got a whole kit of those bolts. B,
you had Gorilla Glue.
Yeah.
And C, you had the foresight to say, hey, we can fix this.
So it doesn't mess up the head of your troll motor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he Gorilla Glued it, and we're good to go.
Yeah, I mean, all the other bolts were loose that I tightened.
What else did you tighten?
All of them.
They were all loose?
Dude, you would have lost the other side panel tomorrow, for sure.
There you go. That's just on me. That's 100% on me. There's no other way
we
to
got
say
you,
that.
Man. We got you.
Put a bow on the fish dumping. I see someone said Klon dumps his fish. The very first open I ever fished was on Ross Barnett. And I think I weighed in. I know that I had a limit. I think I had a limit for like 6 pounds one of the days. Anyway. Immediately I was like one of the last people to weigh in. Anyway, my mom calls me and she's like, "You okay?" This is back in the day. I still had. And I'm like, "Yeah, no, I'm good." She's like, "Well, you beat Rick Klein." And I was like, "Yeah, I mean that, yeah." And this is a true story. I'm back at, like, we're staying right by the ramp, and I'm back at the campground, and I park my boat, and Rick Klun is at the boat ramp throwing back a 10-pound limit. He would have smoked me, but he knew that it was the difference between like 150th and 200.
Yeah. Okay.
So he dumped it.
Yeah.
Dumped his limit. So I've done it in Wednesday nighters before. I've only done it one time where it would have cost us money.
I mean, hopefully I don't lean on 26 and change tomorrow. I mean, hopefully I do, but hopefully I don't.
That would be wild.
Dude, I'd be some choke.
I've seen 1 5-pound smallie since I've been here. Like on Champlain, a 5-pound smallie is a unicorn.
Yeah.
And for most people.
Yeah, I don't think I'm on. Well, I know I'm not on because
I don't know. I can't remember on Champlain if there's ever been like one of those St. Clair, Thousand Island, 25.5, 26, 27-pound limits of smallmouth only.
Of smallmouth?
Yeah. Because I think they're progressively getting bigger.
What was the elites last year?
Like 23, I think, was the biggest. 23.5. I know that time Polinick. So. Okay, let's talk a little bit about invitationals, and then we probably need to make sure we batten down the hatches and make sure our stuff is ready to go for tomorrow. So the final MLF Invitational, let's see if I can pull this up, kicks off. I'm pretty sure it's the last one. I just looked. Kicks off this week on Lake St. Clair. Yep, there it is right there, the 26th through the 28th. I saw Jacob Wheeler was jackpotting it and took a picture with a water spout in the background on the lake. Have you ever seen a water spout on one of the?
I haven't, no.
No, neither have I. I've never seen a water spout on the lake. I would really like to. I think they're really cool. But if you guys don't follow the Tackle Warehouse Invitationals or have been keeping up with it, it's hard to because there's so many professional levels between the elites and the BPT and Opens, NPFL, Toyota, all sorts of stuff. We have a really, really good race going. I don't want to say it's a 3-man race. We'll say it's a 5-man race, basically. Jake Lawrence, Alec Morrison, Drew Gill, Marshall Hughes, and Colby Miller. Is there a picture of Marshall Hughes? I'm not sure. Yeah, that's what I thought. All young guys. Pretty sure they're all really good with their electronics. I mean, I know they all are. Really good with their electronics. They've all had insane years. And I think, probably, unless something happens, I would assume one of those 5 guys is going to walk away with the angler of the year between Jake, Alec, and Drew. I would put them, especially Drew and a couple of those guys, probably in some of the top 10 scopers in the world right now.
Really? Yeah. Okay.
So you're just getting into the scope thing, and this isn't a controversial topic, but we didn't talk about this last night, did we? Or 2 nights ago?
I don't think so.
Not in depth. What are your thoughts on it? Like, you put it on for this event, then you got to spend a half a day in the boat with me. I'm a very adept scoper. I would not say I am an elite scoper.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I am committed to it. I believe there's a lot of nuance to it. What is your kind of overall perception from what you've seen over this past week and what your experience has been with it?
I mean, so far, like, other than my performance today.
Yeah.
Dude, I love it.
Really?
I absolutely love it. I have learned more by putting that thing on the front of my boat and then the half day with you about fish behavior than I did in like 2 years on the water. It's insane to be able to get a direct, like, or an instant feedback on what's going on. But it also leaves me, I guess, with so much more, so many more questions, right? Like, why is this happening? Like, or what? Yeah,
I wouldn't, the fish I'm catching, I would not be able to catch without it.
Yeah.
Like, they're so spread out enough that, like, if I did that all day, maybe 2 or 3.
I mean, again, take the day out of it. I completely agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eric, that's a great point. I think Drew is not fishing this one, the Invitationals. I think he announced that he wasn't fishing it, so he could give someone else a spot in the BPT.
So I was going to ask you when you were talking about that, how many spots are there?
I think it's like 9 or 8. But here's the other thing. I think by not fishing it and giving a spot to the Invitational guy, he will then kick out a BPT guy.
Yeah.
Because
he'd be a double qualifier.
Yeah. I think that's how that works. I was talking with Matt Steffen about it, and I was like, I think that knocks out a BPT guy instead of keeps a BPT guy in. It's a double qualifier.
Okay, so here's a question for you then, Matt. The Opens, you're in 10th, and one of the guys goes, you know what? Hanger's got a really good shot of this. I'm going to drop out. I'm not going to fish the last one.
So an Elite Series guy?
Yeah.
Well, they do the top 9 in the EQs. It doesn't double qualify. Like Coda.
I guess, yeah, sorry. Yeah. So I guess what I was asking, so let's say you're in that same position.
Yeah, so they count from what I know, I hope I'm not speaking poorly here. From what I understand, they count the double qualifiers on MLF. They do not count them on B.A.S.S. So, like, if a guy on the Elite Series finishes in the top 9 in the EQs, it goes down to 10.
Okay. Oh, okay. But they're only taking so many in the BBT from the Invitational. So, like, let's say you're the last guy in.
Right.
How, like, are you stoked about it, or are you like, no, I didn't earn my spot?
Oh, you're stoked about it.
Okay.
You earned it through the rules. 100%.
I mean, I don't want to talk for anybody, but I wouldn't think I earned it.
I thought 100% would not even cross my mind at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's in the rules. That's what it stated.
100%.
That's how you qualify. You qualified. You didn't backdoor anything. You didn't do it in a nefarious fashion. I mean, you knew going into that year that if you were the top 9 EQ anglers outside of current Elite Series pros, you would qualify for the Elite Series. So I don't care if there's 8 Elite Series anglers ahead of me and I finish 14.
Right, but like that, like the rules are different on B.A.S.S. is what you're saying, though. So the MLF guy, whoever it is, like, does he feel like he's earned it, or does he feel like Drew gave it to him? Because I don't, like, if I was to get a spot.
I think you earned it. It's Drew's choice. You don't have any way to tell what other people are going to do. You still finished it at the end, in the top. And Drew wasn't doing it for, like, one person, as far as I know.
Well, I mean, he's doing it for a person, not a single person.
I don't know. MJ says, I feel like Kenta should get a few Legends exemptions qualifying for the Elite so many times. Okay, so I talked about this on a show before. I'm very passionate about this. This has screwed a number of guys, and it shouldn't. I believe, this is just me, that every time you qualify for the Elite Series, if you get kicked out of the Elite Series and re-qualify, or if you're on the Elite Series and re-qualify through the Opens, your history with B.A.S.S, you're no longer considered a rookie, but like,
yeah, I know where you're going with this.
If he's qualified through the Opens this year, but has a bad Elite Series track record, he'd be at risk of getting kicked off of the Elite Series next year, even though he should have 2 years because he finished in the top 9 this year.
Yeah.
Or if you've gotten kicked off, I feel like in a Gleason situation, he's got to live with his 2 years on his record, even if he requalifies this year. So, whereas his slate should be wiped clean, and he should come in with 2 years not considered a rookie because he just requalified through the entire process.
You're qualified as a rookie so long as you don't have so many earnings.
I don't even know what exactly qualifies you as a rookie.
So
I think it's something, yeah.
I thought it was like under $100,000 of earnings or something like that. Anyways, that's it doesn't matter. But yo, it is gassing out there, man.
Does it show up on this thing? Let me see why. Oh yeah, you can tell. Oh, that is a squall.
Yeah.
Look at the lake in the background.
That's crazy. So I think I know like maybe why you're so passionate about this, but like another Oklahoma guy, Hallman.
Yeah.
His slate wasn't wiped clean, even though he went out and came back. Right?
A decade later.
Yeah.
So he was still dealing in 2022 or 2023 with what he did in 2011.
Yeah, I don't think that's right. So I guess what I'm saying is I agree with you 100%. Like if you go through the Opens and you're in the top 9,
Carl's dealing with it right now.
Is he? Yeah.
Yeah, because he was Elite Series and then he went to FLW and now he's back to the Elites.
Right. Yeah, maybe it's something that they should look at.
It is what it is. But all right, you got anything else? I think this is going to be our last show. If I get the audio figured out, we're going to get Frank on tomorrow night. But I've got a headphone jack on that I think might be bad. But we'll figure it out.
Okay.
Anything else? What's the game plan for tomorrow? Just go out, learn as much as you can, catch them up?
I mean, so long as we get to go tomorrow.
That's a valid question. Dude, it's going to jack up everyone's stuff, isn't it?
Maybe not the largemouth.
It'll jack up the largemouth.
Yeah, dude,
it's got to be going 40 right now. Don't you think? You think it's more than 40? 50?
Yeah, it's gassing up there.
You think there's anybody out on the lake right now? On the entire Lake Champlain, is there someone out in this that was like, I told you this was a bad idea,
100%. You're seeing a pontoon run across there in about like 15 minutes, and someone's
getting chewed out.
Yeah.
If they make it back.
Yeah, if they make it back.
All right. We're going to make sure everything is dialed in. But thanks for tuning in for the On Location. And I think that's all we got. We're going to make sure that our boats haven't blown away. All right. We'll talk to everybody. Hopefully tomorrow. Stay tuned for day 4 with Frank Scalish. If not, next Monday, back in studio, the BTL studio. I assume my house is still there. None of my alarm sensors have gone off.
You're going home, eh?
It's connected to my phone.
Oh, is it?
So it's nice that, like, as long as it doesn't go off, I know that, like, my house is still standing. I've got, like, cameras where I can, like, look at it.
Yeah.
So, anyway, all right, this has been another edition of BTL Bass Talk Live. We will talk to everybody later. See ya.